Hey everybody, I hope everybody out there is doing fine. And I'm making a video today for Elliott Cruz's contest called Keep It Simple Stupid. The theme is simple music or an artist that kind of stripped away everything and kept it simple for an album. I've never done one of these contests before. I've made several VC videos, but this will be my first contest entry because I really like the theme and I like Elliott's channel. I'm going to do these in alphabetical order, and the first one I'm going to show is Daryl Adams, Feeling Fine. Daryl Adams is a folk artist, American folk artist, and this album is just him and his banjo doing some traditional songs and a few that he wrote. Daryl Adams was a figure early in the folk scene in the late 50s, early 60s. And I think he also traveled Europe with his banjo and playing his folk music. And this is, if I didn't mention already, this is an import from the UK on the label called The Village Thing. There's some songs on this like Darling Corey, Freight Train Blues, Wildwood Flower, the old Carter family song. The Sky is a really good song. Mule Skinner Blues, Jimmy Rogers' old tune. Deep Ellum Blues that the Grateful Dead covered later on. Blue Ridge Mountains, and there's a really good song at the end called The Valley. But Daryl Adams, he's from Oregon, and on some of his other albums he sings about Oregon. I don't think any of them are on here, but yeah, this is pretty much just Daryl Adams and his banjo. Wiz Jones on a song or two plays acoustic guitar and harmonica. This is from 1972. Daryl Adams, Feeling Fine. Okay, the next one I have this on vinyl somewhere, but I've misplaced it and can't find it, so I got my original CD. This is Alice in Chains Unplugged. I wasn't a huge fan of Alice in Chains back in the early 90s, but when I heard this, it really made me appreciate them a lot more. This, of course, was recorded for MTV's Unplugged series, and it's not quite as famous as the Nirvana or the Eric Clapton Unplugged, but this is probably my favorite just because, I mean, they were a hard rock band, bordering on heavy metal almost, and they stripped it away to acoustic guitar and bass on this. And it's got Nutshell, Brother, No Excuses, Sludge Factory, Down in a Hole, Angry Chair, Rooster, that's probably my favorite one. What's some other real good ones? Heaven Beside You, Wood, Frogs is great, Over Now, and Killer Is Me. I think this was recorded around 1995. It came out in 1996. Yes, Alice in Chains Unplugged. They simplified their sound and showed their true talents on their instruments that shine through. All right, the next one. This came out on Record Store Day 2 or 3 years ago, I believe. And this is a reproduction of the Bob Dylan Blood on the Tracks test pressing. If you don't know the story, he recorded most of these songs, and these versions are a little more stripped down on several of the songs, like Tangled Up in Blue. I think it's all acoustic. It's really stripped down, but I think the story goes that Bob Dylan's brother told him that it was a little unproduced and he needed to redo a few of the songs before he released it. But yeah, it's got Tangled Up in Blue, Simple Twist of Fate. That's stripped down a little bit too to bare acoustic. You're a Big Girl Now, Idiot Wind. You're Gonna Make Me Lonesome When You Go, Meet Me in the Morning, Lily Rosemary and the Jack of Hearts, If You See Her, Say Hello, Shelter from the Storm. That's really similar to the version that was released. And then finishes off with Buckets of Rain. But yeah, it was recorded in 1974. I think the release came out, the official release came out in 1975, but this is a reproduction of the test pressing of the original way he intended to release the album. There it is. Bob Dylan, Blood on the Tracks, test pressing. My next album that I'm going to show is probably my favorite blues album of all time. And I looked around a while, and I finally found it about 5 or 6 years ago, an original mono version of John Lee Hooker, It Serves You Right to Suffer. I think this came out in 1964. It's on the Impulse record label. And John Lee Hooker kind of slowed things down on this. It's just him and his electric guitar. And I enjoy and really like every song on this album. It's got Shake It Baby, Country Boy, Bottle Up and Go, You're Wrong, Sugar Mama, Decoration Day. He does a cover of the song Money that the Beatles did. And the last track is It Serve You Right to Suffer. And what's funny, on the inside, on the inner gatefold, they kind of corrected the grammar here, put It Serves You Right to Suffer. But thankfully the cover stayed true to the way John Lee Hooker would say it. It served you right to suffer. I'll take this one out of the sleeve and show that classic Impulse label. This is an original mono. It also came out in stereo the same year. And it hadn't been reissued very often. I think Vinyl Me Please did a reissue. That one's hard to get to, though. Put that back in the sleeve. Okay, the next one. This is an artist that Elliott also showed to show an example of the kind of album he wanted you to show. But it's not the same album. This is Townes Van Zandt, Rear View Mirror. This is also one of his live albums. I think it has songs that he did at various locations, all in the recorded in the early 90s. I mean, it's got Poncho and Lefty, If I Needed You, For the Sake of the Song, Our Mother the Mountain. These were all old songs of his. I think that's why it's called Rearview Mirror. He's looking back at some of his classic songs. To Live Is to Fly, Lungs, Flying Shoes, No Place to Fall, Dollar Bill Blues, White Freightliner Blues, Tecumseh Valley, Don't You Take It Too Bad, Tower Song, Rex's Blues, Brother Flower, Waiting Round to Die, and Colorado Girl. But like I said, these are all small venues, him playing live. I think he has fiddle accompaniment on some of the tunes. And this release is a little bit special because it's on colored vinyl. It's on the Fat Possum label that reissues a lot of his stuff. This is a double LP on pink vinyl. Dark pink. Kind of matches the vehicle he's in there on the cover. Yeah, I mean, Townes Van Zandt, his music was pretty simple to begin with, overproduced sometimes, but like I said, this one's just pure acoustic live. All right, the last one I'm going to show. This is an artist, one of my favorite artists of all time, probably my second favorite, Bob Dylan being number one. It's Neil Young. This is Harvest Moon. This came out in 1992, and Neil Young had done a lot of experimenting, as you know, in the 80s, a lot of different styles. But on this one, he brought it back to, I think, what he does best, that acoustic, folky sound, a little bit country. Kind of like his big album, Harvest. This is sort of a companion album to Harvest, 20 years later, Harvest being 1972. This one was released in 92. But it's got Unknown Legend, From Hank to Hendrix, You and Me, Harvest Moon, War of Man, One of These Days, Such a Woman, Old King, Dreamin' Man, and Natural Beauty finishes it off with. Every song on this is great. And this wasn't out on vinyl for a long time, but it was finally released 2 or 3 years ago. There's the inner gatefold. There's Neil and late steel guitar player Ben Keith. Not sure who that is. He's dressed up like Macho Man Randy Savage, but yeah, it's an awesome inner photo. There's the back with the Harvest Moon and all the tracks. This is a double LP. I'll show you the second LP. This is a record store day release, by the way. I'm gonna put the hype sticker on there and the other hype sticker. It's on his old Reprise record label. But the thing about it, it's a double LP and it fills up 3 sides. But on the 4th side, they put an etching of the cover photo, which is kind of cool. You can see it there in the light. So, yeah, they couldn't, the album wouldn't fit on 4 sides, so they came up with something creative for the 4th side. All right, that's going to be it for my entry into the contest. And if I win, the charity that I would like Elliott to contribute to is Children's Hospital of Atlanta. I really like that organization. They help out kids, the most innocent among us. And my youngest son had to stay there a year ago. He had pneumonia, a case of pneumonia that he couldn't stave off, so he had quite an extended stay in there. He's better now, but you can't beat Children's Healthcare of Atlanta. So thank you very much for watching, and I hope everybody else contributes to this if they can. See you next time. Bye-bye.